All right, what's up, folks, man? Thank you today, man. We here, man, from Swagging with the OG Mike D, and I got my friends on here, man. Of course, y'all know B Rock. He just got back from Ecuador. He bought me some of them goddamn cigars, but I ain't got a chance to hit him yet, bro. But we're gonna talk about that vacation that he had later. What's going on with you, player?
Man, listen, I am enjoying life. I tell you, Ecuador opened up my mind to a lot of things that I'm gonna be changing being here in the States, man. I tell you, I mean, the most humblest people I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, until you get yeah, hold on, man. We're gonna get to all that, man, for you, because you're gonna talk 5 hours about all that cocaine smoking back here. Hey, we also got a boy, hey, that grew up with us in Mount Sinai in the hood on the Merc, man. He from Mount Sinai. Terry Sanford, Reed Ross, St. All, he was in the Army. He lived here in Charlotte. He lived here in Charlotte also, man. Brian Boykin. What's happening?
Yes, sir.
What's good, man? What's good? B-Rock, good to see you.
Yes, sir, man. It was good chopping it up with you today, man. You're looking good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, God is good, bro. God is good.
Yeah, I had the fellas over here today, cooked them cats some dinner and stuff, man. You know, for all y'all that know me, y'all know I like to burn, you know, get down. Anybody come to my house, I'm gonna feed you. But you know,
excellent cook.
Yeah, man. So they home now. They home and safe. But hey, man, the subject today, man, and a lot of guys are scared to talk about this situation, and some guys aren't. We're going to talk about ED, erectile dysfunction. And, you know, I tell guys there's two things a woman going to do when they find out that you suffering from that. They either going to say, hey, man, I can't fuck with this dude. I'm going the other way. Then you got the other half of the women say, I'm going to try this motherfucker because I can make it work. You know, but we sat back and we was on Facebook Live earlier, and the subject came up between us guys. You know, I'm not that knowledgeable on it. B Rock and Brian, both of them are got a little bit of knowledge on it, you know, and we're gonna dig into that today, man, and try to start. I'm trying to figure this shit out because I was worried about one day my shit might stop working, and it's because of you know, they was telling me I need to watch what I was eating because I was eating skins and motherfucking all that shit and having a drink. And both of them was like, hey, man, you need to chill out with that shit. And look, I ain't got no problems yet. But they say, hey, you keep doing that, they come. Y'all go ahead, dig in my ass, dig in.
Well, I'm not going to really say I want to dig in your ass. I just want to share some knowledge with you.
Hey,
I just want to share some knowledge with you.
Yeah.
For someone that had 3 strokes at 37, and then back in June 5th and June 12th, I had a heart attack. I had multiple blockage chambers in my heart. You know, there's certain things that I made aware of and some things that I learned throughout the period of time of my 55 years of living. At some point, it's a lot of things we don't know as Black men.
Yeah.
But it's called virtual learning. You know what I mean by that? I might be able to teach you something, Mike, and you might know something to teach me. But at some point, we teaching each other. We bouncing things off each other, and we learning from that. So I would just like to say, you know, it's something that I'm sharing knowledge of that I've literally experiencing. And I thank God every day because, be honest with you, some of our fellow people that we grew up with, went to school with, and all that, they ain't sitting here listening or watching this.
Right.
You know, they're no longer with it. They transition on. So to be able to share some knowledge to those that are still here, you know, I do it anytime I can, any opportunity I have.
And I appreciate that, man. But you know what? I'm back what we was talking about earlier today. If you want to chime in, Rock, discuss what we was talking about today, so we can get back into that. Maybe because like I didn't. What were we talking about? About you saying the lower extremities. What were we talking about?
Yeah, the bottom line is this. There's so many things that causes ED in men. I mean, of course, the fact that you're getting older, that's number one. But number two, you're not getting, proper nutrition. You're not eating right. You're not living right. You're not exercising. A lot of these things are basically nails in the coffin for you to end up with it. A lot of people today that's our age, as you started this podcast, they don't want to talk about it because they feel like it's an omen in their household. But I mean, you have to talk about it. It's important for
it ain't gonna happen to me.
Right. It's important for yourself, but it's also important for your partner, your wife, your significant other. You have to discuss this type of thing, but you also have to do your due diligence, and you have to make sure that you are, taking your medicine, eating right, exercising. And as we also discussed earlier, there are ways of coming off of that medicine, but it starts in the kitchen, and it starts with you doing some form of exercise. You just can't ignore it. You can't ignore it and think it's going to go away. It's not going to go away. It's just going to get worse and worse and worse until you fix the problem.
Okay.
That's the bottom line.
B-Rock. I mean,
Now,
not B-Rock, but Brian, what did you say? What did you say a while ago? When Brian?
Okay, I was saying in reference to when we get our erections, it comes from the lower extremities of our body. So if you have poor circulation, the blood can go down, but if the blood is not coming up, then that's where you're going to have the issues and have the problems as far as erectile dysfunction. And it's a lot of things that can cause you to have that poor circulation. And these are things, be honest with you, you have to go to the doctor and just have a good relationship and a good open relationship with your doctor where you're able to communicate and ask questions.
Right.
And by having, poor circulation, which could be caused by high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and diabetes. These are things that can cause damage to your veins and the more smaller veins that's in your body. These are the things that can cause more damage, which will interfere with you having erectile dysfunction.
And that was, and the question I know to you guys, it seemed like I was just puzzled with the stuff that you all were saying, because I've never had a heart attack. I've never had a stroke. The worst thing I've ever had was a little, my cholesterol was elevated a little one time. I never had blood pressure problems. Only thing I got is sleep apnea. And other than that, I get my little workouts in, and do what I got to do. So that shit was like Chinese arithmetic when y'all was talking to me earlier. So I mean, right. I might have been sounding silly not knowing what was going on, but I truly know. I didn't know. I don't know those issues. I was like, well, we need to get on the podcast and talk about it.
Okay, let's put things in perspective real quick. I don't mean to cut you off, but I want you to think about this for a moment. Okay, the whole reason why it's important for people that have sleep apnea, because when I was heavier, because of the bad eating, not exercising and everything, I ended up with sleep apnea. And when I went to go to the VA doctor, they gave me the machine. I took it home, slept with it for 24 hours, took it back. They pulled the chip out of the machine, put it in the computer and read it. He said that my breathing was stopping 100 times per hour. So with that being said, think about it. If you don't have any oxygen going to the brain, that's cutting this off. That's how most people end up dying in their sleep.
Damn, dog.
So it's the same thing. It's the same thing when we're talking about erectile dysfunctional. There's no blood going down to your tool. None.
I'm trying to figure
That's
out
why
why I'm trying to figure out why the blood ain't going there. I mean, this shit new to me because blood apparently going to mine because I ain't got these problems. So I'm not feeling.
No,
I'm not feeling.
yeah, I'm not issue. I just read up on this because I was concerned years ago when I was heavier.
Right.
I had forms of that
And
where I couldn't really get it up. And it was like,
right.
my basically told me, listen, you're going to have to drop the weight. You're going to have to start eating correctly.
Okay.
And you have to exercise.
Okay.
So I thank God I'm down, what, damn near 50, 60 pounds. That's important.
Okay. Go ahead. What you going to say?
And that's one thing.
Burn.
That's one thing I was getting ready to say. I understand, like I said, you may not have these problems now, but there are certain things that you should be able to talk to your doctor about, because it may not be now, but over a period of time. That's why they say diabetes, high blood pressure, and high cholesterol are like the silent killers.
Correct.
Because you don't know much about them until you actually having a massive heart attack or you having a stroke, something of that nature, and you don't know about it. You just don't know the symptoms.
Right. And
But
see,
I'm gonna say this much. I'm sorry, B-Rock.
No, you good.
I'm gonna say this much. It's things in reference to cholesterol. High cholesterol is plaque buildup in your veins that will sooner or later, over a period of time, you can have a steady flow of blood going through your veins. But as that plaque builds up and it blocks the blood flow till you get to a certain point. It's like a pinhole. And when you get to that point, that's when I said you're having the strokes, you're having the heart attacks, you're having those things that can cause you to have issues with your blood flow in your body. Because with high blood pressure, it actually makes your heart works harder to pump blood throughout your body.
okay.
Okay. Now,
We lost
with diabetes, with diabetes, that's another thing that will interfere with your blood flow, or the sugar, or the uncontrolled diabetes. Let me just make, because diabetes at some stage can be reversed through activity and through your diet. But turn around, if you allow it to be uncontrolled, then these are the things that can happen. You know, these are the things that can happen. And I say this stuff because this is stuff that I'm experiencing now as we speak. At 37, and I'm not going to talk too long. At 37, I had 3 strokes in one day. At 54, I had a heart attack. I had multiple blockages. And I just had open heart surgery June the 12th. And all of these things have an effect on you at some point in time having an erection. I tell you right now, you know, I share these things, but I also, hey, I ain't bragging, I ain't boasting. I have some good memories. And so at some point, you know, that's what I go off of, those memories. And then at another point, you know, it has, I was saying this to B-Rock earlier, it has helped me with bettering myself in reference to being in a relationship and knowing how to communicate. Now, that in itself, you know, that's another podcast, because I feel like in order to have a healthy relationship, I'm sorry, Mike, go ahead.
So you think, do y'all think that, and I know this should be women, we should be asking women this, would it be a problem for women to deal with a guy with ED?
Okay, I think
that's something. I guess that's something we would have to have a female on the show.
That's something you have to have. You have a woman on, and then I'm gonna tell you, you got to understand, us as men, we are physical. Women are emotional.
Right.
So at some point, depends on what that woman desire and what she may want.
Right.
Because, you know, she might be like, well, baby, we can work through this. There's other things that we can do. Or she might realize that, you know what, I'm getting the things that I've been asking for in a relationship now mentally.
Right.
You know, as far as him communicating with me, listening to me and being able to process and having a healthy relationship.
And like I said, I don't know being, you know, not ever been in the situation you two been in as far as, you know, having health, heart problems and all that stuff. So I probably, I don't know. Go ahead, Rob.
I mean, we touched on this a little bit earlier when we met face to face. Yeah, if you are in your 30s, 40s, or maybe even early 50s, it may be hard for the female to accept. And I don't know. I'm just guessing. But when you get to our age, you know, it's kind of like we've been there, done that. Our minds are more focused on stability, leaving lasting legacies for our kids, our grandkids. There's more important things on the shelf to focus on other than that one little small percentage.
Yeah, but B-Rock, these women these days in their 40s, 50s, and down in 60s, horny as a motherfucker now, man. So I'm saying,
no, this is true. This is true. I'm not talking about going weeks. I'm not talking about going weeks, months, years.
Sex means a lot to these,
and that's correct. That's correct. But what I'm saying is, if it goes, you know, 1 or 2 days or even 3 days before we even have sex, I don't think that's a big issue, because especially in my household, where both of us, we work extremely long hours. And, you know, with me working at the post office, I'm basically working 10, 12 hours a day. And when I get home, I barely have enough strength to take a shower, take the dog out for a piss and poop, feed her, fix me a cup of coffee, maybe get me something to eat, and then go to bed. That's about as much strength I have left throughout the day. So if, you know, Karen, you know, she don't even pester me about something like that throughout the week, but now on especially Sundays or my days off, it's a different story. It's time to stand at attention.
Yeah.
But the rest of the time, man, we both work some extremely long hours, so it's understood.
So what is
bless you
now, motherfucker? That was motherfucking Corona right there, though. That was goddamn.
No.
You just left my motherfucking house a couple hours ago, Brian. If we sick tomorrow, goddamn, we know
that wasn't no cough. That was a sneeze.
Motherfucker, that sound like COVID-19 to me.
Hey, I'll let you know. I'll let you know if I'm feeling funny. Yeah. But I'm gonna tell you something. I just want to say this right here. Go ahead. A lot of times too, real quick before I forget, because I am at that age. A lot of times too, it's all depends on the maturity level of where the woman's at.
True.
Exactly.
You know, that maturity level. If she is not there, or if put like this, a woman knows her man, and a man knows his woman.
Right.
Now, at times we may not pay attention to certain things, but there are times whereas we, you pick up on things. Mm-hmm. And if it means I can just get a hug or a kiss right now or a soft touch, you know, from my man, knowing that he's there, then at some point in time, mentally, a lot of things build up to whereas when that time comes to have sex, whether you get hard or you don't.
Okay,
at some point. No, I was going to say at some point, you know that it's going to go down in some form, in some fashion.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you this though. You have okay, as far as your attitude when you're going through all this medication or all these ailments, I mean, do you have attitude problems? Do you treat your significant other differently, or people need to know this because, like I said, I've not been in a situation, but then you all got women, y'all been through this situation. Do you have anger issues? Do it make you treat people different?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
do it run women
I would
off?
say so.
Do it turn
Yes.
you into a narcissist? I mean, y'all know what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, it does. The medication, I mean, when you are going through something like ED, it affects you emotionally as a man, because that's part of what makes you a man, is how you put it down in the bedroom. And if you feel as though you ain't doing, damage like you used to in your 20s and 30s, you're like, what the fuck's going on?
You're doing no damage, but I understand what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah.
It really affects you. And so do you end up with anger issues? Yes.
Yeah, but does it make you do you have anger issues towards the woman?
No. It's not.
I'm asking you that, B-Rock. Then I'm gonna ask Brian that.
Yeah, it's not. When I was going through my issues, it was never directed towards my woman. It was just there, and she just happened to be a part of it. And she was like,
okay,
like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Oh, well, nothing. Well, no, we gotta talk about it. And then when you tell them, they're like, oh, okay, I get it. It's like Brian just said, you gotta have that conversation. You cannot just go through your relationship, whether you're dating or whether you're married, just thinking everything's copacetic, everything's good. No, everything's not good. You got to have that conversation with the person you're talking about building a life's future with. You can't keep that person in the dark. She is actually there to help you as well.
Okay.
And I can tell you right.
Okay, boss man.
Go ahead.
God damn. All right, Brian.
Yes, sir.
Your anger issues when you get upset, is it pertaining to how you feeling, and do you channel that to your woman or your significant other, someone you may have dated?
I'm not trying to make this seem like that I'm just a horrible person. Yes, I'm gonna say yes, it does. Because when you with the significant other, wife, girlfriend, whatever, whoever it may be, of all the people in the world, if she with y'all and y'all together, you expect her to understand and know what you're feeling.
Wow.
Now,
she ain't got no damn dick or no motherfucking.
You are so right. Hey, and I'm kind of glad some women don't have a damn dick.
I'm just saying, why would you say she should understand what you're going through if they're not going through it?
Well, that's what we feel because we caught up in our emotions.
Okay.
We caught up in our feelings. We caught up in our emotions. I feel like, well, damn, out of all the people that I deal with or associate with or interact with, you should know, because either we live together or we with each other every day. But see, one thing about I've learned, now this is I'm just saying what I've learned. As you go through life, you start looking at things from different perspectives. You're supposed to. That means you're maturing. But turn around, sometimes we don't mature or get to that level until after you lose something good and you can't get it back in a relationship. But yes, you have the tendency to take out that anger, take out that frustration, because some of us don't know how to communicate. You got some men that know how to talk to their spouse or their mate.
Right.
And you got some men, they be like, well, God dang, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You don't understand where I'm coming from. So once again, it's our delivery and our approach and how we put it out there. She might really do understand or will understand better if you approach her in a different way, besides the attitude.
Yeah, my delivery habits out here are real horrible.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
hey,
and Brian is right. You know, if you are in a marriage or relationship for, say, many years, okay, if you had that argument, if you had that discussion with your spouse about what you're going through or dealing with your ED, and she still doesn't understand, then yes, that is a discussion that you both need to have about where we're going after this, you know.
And maybe something that therapy, you can go to therapy.
But if you are one of those men, that refuse to believe that you don't have any issues, you just thinking everything's glorious in your household, and you know you're dealing with ED and you haven't had that discussion with her, first of all, don't do that, because I'm telling you, you are only setting yourself up for failure.
That you are. Yeah.
And you can't sit up there and direct your anger towards her when you haven't had the damn discussion with her. You can't do that. That is not fair to her, and it's not fair to yourself. So that's two different perspectives that you have to look at. So if whoever's listening to this podcast today, you have to go and stand in the mirror and do some self-reflecting. Have I told my wife about my ED, or have I not?
Well, the thing is, when you're having that conversation, you got to understand it's a lot of things that goes on in a woman's body that we as men don't understand.
True. Hello.
Hey, I guess he muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah.
You at the bathroom?
We got to allow ourselves. Say what?
You in the bathroom? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No. It's at some point we have to allow ourselves to talk, communicate without the cussing and fussing and the attitude, because once you say it, it comes out. If it comes out in anger, it's one of those things that you can't take back.
Right.
And even though she may say, I forgive you and I apologize, but deep down inside, it's hard to forget, because once you say it, then in her mind, hey, did that joker really mean it? Or turn around, dag, this is how he feels.
Right.
Hey,
so if this is how he feels.
I can honestly say, Brian, you have really matured in the last year. Because if we would have had this discussion this time last year, me and you'll be arguing.
Yeah. But we could argue, but then turn around. Our friendship allow us to understand and appreciate what you had to say to me, because I don't want you around me if you ain't gonna tell me the truth. Hell, if I got a booger in my nose, I want you to be like, hey man, you got a booger in your nose. Go check yourself.
Well, it's
or
like
turn around.
Well, it's like this, bro. Me and you done had our motherfucking days. And hey, B-Rock, I done got in his ass so bad he tried to kick me out of his house drunk. Motherfucker, I ain't going no goddamn.
Hey, listen. Listen. When I told Doc that I was heading his way, the first thing he said, and I was mid-sentence talking. He's like, "Hey, listen." He said, "Don't go." He said, "Give him a break. Don't go in on him." Because I'm gonna tell you, man, I was ready to lay into you. I was ready to lay into you. But then when I saw you, I said, you know what? He had that wake-up call. He realizes what is important in life, and he's getting himself together.
Brian,
So it's not
in the
even
light,
important.
man. We can't see you.
You can't see me. Well, all right.
Get back in the light, man.
Come back
Can
to
you
the
see me
light.
now?
There you go. But this motherfucker eating on the podcast, dog.
Hey, those who watching, you know where I'm from and you know me. So, oh well.
You know what, man?
But I say this much,
And
I say this much.
And I wanted to be a Q dog one day.
Hey, it ain't too late, bro. It ain't too late.
But yeah,
Ain't
man.
too late.
But yeah, it was nice how we chopped up the discussion, man. And you know, a lot of females don't don't realize we sit around and talk about shit like this all the time. We just don't talk it amongst them. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
We sit here and you know, go through shit, and if one person don't understand, we try to, you know, make each other, because I was like really puzzled today. I mean, because I don't have those problems. And y'all was like, man, you need to stop this. You know, okay, I understand. What y'all don't realize is when I do eat shit that I do eat or do things that I do is in moderation. Brian will tell you that. You know, I don't do that shit all the time, man. Eating skins and shit. You know.
Yeah.
But they was dropped off, and I fucked the Q up, and I threw the rest away. You know. But hey,
Yeah.
I ain't had that motherfucking. Hey man, thank God I haven't had a heart attack, no strokes, that stuff, man. You know, so.
Well, remember what I was telling you. Now I don't know what he experienced, but I could tell you and this is for anybody that is listening to this podcast. When I had my heart attack, it was November of 2016. And the feeling, and it actually woke me up out of my sleep. It was 1:38. I'd never forget that number, 1:38 in the morning. It felt like acid reflux. That's exactly what it felt like. So I got up, I drank some coffee, I drank a soda, spit both of them up, drove all the way to the VA hospital in Salisbury. And then 45 minutes later, I ended up at Wake Forest Baptist in Winston-Salem, where they told me I had suffered a heart attack. So I encourage you, anybody that is listening to this podcast, get your shit under control. It is important. You do not want your kids to find you dead. You don't want your spouse to find you dead. Get your shit in order.
Yeah, so anybody's out there listening right now, man, you know, at this age now, all of us are in our 50s right now. I mean, I just lost a partner Saturday that do what I do, man. Diabetes and pancreatic cancer. And like I was telling these guys, you know, and especially you vets, if you go to the VA and you have your yearly physical, they don't check for that. They don't check for that. So
A1C, your diabetes, your sugar level and stuff like that, unless you ask them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for pancreatic cancer, pancreatic cancer, they do not check, but if you ask them to check, they will do it. But they're not just gonna volunteer and add it to your everything else that they do. And it runs in my mother's side, on my mother's side of the family. On my grandmother's side, we had a few people die, and by the time they found out that they had pancreatic cancer, it was stage 4. My partner He just found out a year ago that he was stage 4 and he passed on us yesterday. Wait a minute, when was the 17th? Yesterday.
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 So man, especially when it comes to these cancers, man, and these guys that don't like to go to the doctor and get checked out. Hey, I don't like it myself. I can't stand needles. And I'm the biggest punk in the VA. Everybody know when Mr. Dockery coming down the hall because I'm raising hell talking shit the whole time in Salisbury. Everybody know me. They's like, here he come. I ain't gonna tell you about the time they try to have a dude give me to draw blood for me, man. I'm like, y'all done lost y'all motherfucking mind. No motherfucking man sticking me. but yeah, man, get checked out. ED. We got guys that have that, man. We're gonna go in deep on that. Me and B-Rock also got a show for motherfuckers who shit don't work. What is it called? What is it called? We supposed to go on with old boy.
Yeah, man, I don't forget.
Yeah, it's some shit that's supposed to make your penis work again. With for guys with ED. So if you got it. Hey, pay attention, stay tuned to us. This motherfucker got a whole different philosophy than I have. Mine
but also
opposite here.
But also remember and keep this in mind. I mean, you can reverse this.
But you can reverse diabetes.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's all about nutrition and exercise. Because I'm a living testimony. I mean, I'm literally at 200 pounds solid.
But did you have diabetes?
No.
You did?
No. But see, that's another podcast that we need to talk about because there's this big debate going on right now. When you say it runs in the family, you got some people that says, it's bullshit. But then you have the other side, like myself, my dad's side, they all have heart issues, and my mom's side has diabetes. So I've got like the best of both worlds, so to say. So I'm like fighting both of these battles at the same damn time every day. So yeah,
I'm not so much going to say that it's more of a general generational thing. I think, and I agree with you in reference to the food we eat, because you got to look at our ancestors and stuff. And this is another podcast. Our ancestors and stuff healed themselves. They didn't have access to all the medications and stuff. They healed themselves off of stuff that they ate.
Natural cures. But you got to realize,
the natural cures.
You got to realize, but like B-Rock said, them motherfuckers always in the field working the whole time. So they was getting their exercise on. Now motherfuckers sitting behind computers, playing games with their thumbs. And even when we was younger, we went outside and played ball.
Yeah. That was the first thing your mom always said. Get your ass outside and play.
On Saturday,
and when you go outside, don't come back in. Don't keep running in and out my house.
Saturday morning, you watch Schoolhouse Rock. You watch Soul Train. You make sure that trash taken out of your room straight. Get the fuck outside. I see you before the lights go out.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
I can't do that because my mom was like, go wash them clothes. We hung the clothes up. Once they dried, we had to iron the clothes for the rest of the week because she didn't have time to wait for us to do it in the morning because she had to get to work.
But wait a minute. See, I knew it was a difference between my side of Mount Sinai and your side of Mount Sinai because hey, we didn't have irons. We couldn't afford that shit. We didn't have no damn iron.
Hey,
you're a damn
but you
lie.
know what?
You're a damn lie.
Hey,
I've been over your house, y'all iron the
hey,
motherfucker.
I would say this much: you had one of the sweetest mothers.
Yes, sir.
Miss Rebecca. He had one of the sweetest mothers in Mount Sinai.
Yes,
now
sir.
I know she probably told them tales up because she had to be stern with 4 boys.
Man,
but
she will die.
yeah.
They need They needed. She had a bunch of whores.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She,
That
listen, my
goddamn
mom,
Bill, that damn Bill and Byron boy, I tell you.
my mom is
I think
definitely.
Mike the only one that was calm. The rest of
Yeah.
the other three.
Nah. Anthony and Michael was the sneaky ones all the damn time. Me and Bill was the pack.
But yeah. She was special, man. She was something serious, man. She had everybody on that church bus going to church. And hey, she was a lovely woman, man. But you know what, man? Hey, it was really nice to see you two guys today, man. And we were sitting back. We talking about 40 years ago, man. I met these guys and grew up as kids with them. And you know, they happened to pop up at the house today to check on the OG. And you know, we sat back, kicked it, talked about old time and all the women Brian used to date. We sat back and kicked and had a nice time, man. But hey, man, I'm gonna love you guys to the day I die, man. Y'all
love you too,
love
man.
you too, bro.
And y'all got anything? You got anything you want to say at the end? Brian.
I laugh. If you call me B-Rock, I understand because everybody used to call me B-Rock and people call me Brian, and then they'd be like, "Oh, I'm talking to Brian, not B-Rock."
I got
understand.
Brian and Byron on the fucking podcast, and y'all was here when I was drinking earlier.
Yeah. But I'm gonna just say one thing. I mean, at some point, you know, we sharing this knowledge and we talking about this on the podcast because we want to make people aware of what you can do when you have the problem and you're not by yourself.
Right.
And a lot of times don't allow our egos to interfere with what can make things better for ourselves by going to the doctors, getting checked, you know, or turn around, you know, doing the proper things that we need to do to prepare ourselves so we can live longer. Right. We got grandkids, we got kids, you know, we want to see grow up, you know, we got families, you know, so it's a lot of things that, you know, we would like to do, but just don't allow yourself to, you know, that lack of knowledge,
right?
You know, don't allow it to ruin your life or cause friction, cause an issue in your life to where you can't enjoy life.
Right.
Because at our age now, man, I'm telling you, I'm just so thankful to God above that He has allowed me to see these moments or even sit down in the fellowship and break bread like we did today. I love that. I appreciate y'all, man. And you know, when I say it, it's where I'm at now in my life, new stage in my life, and it's genuine. It's from my heart.
Right.
And I mean it. And you know, I'm like that. I'm like that with everybody, man.
I'm gonna ask you this. I'm gonna ask one more question before we get off here, man. Do you think?
Okay.
Do you think that maybe some of the ailments that you had maybe caused some of the problems in the relationships you had in the past? Because you know, the things that could make you angry, you know, being in the conditions you in. Do you think you messed up relationships with that? Or is it possible?
Yes, because I didn't know how to. It's a possibility.
Right.
And I'm going to say yes, along with that possibility. But at some point, you learn, you know, things afterwards, or you learn things as you go. If you got good, healthy communication, a good, healthy relationships, it's a lot you can learn from one another. Right. But I must say at some point, you know, now look, you know, we older. So at some point you can't always put it on bad attitude or I got this problem and that problem. You know, it might be something like you said earlier, was starting off this podcast. You got some women out there, well, Negro, if you talk to me about it, I might can help you, you know, with the situation.
Right.
It's just a matter of, you know, just communicating and talking
It's
and
your
getting it out
delivery.
there.
It's your delivery, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like everybody
Yeah.
tell me, it's your delivery, man. And what you say makes sense, Mike.
Yeah.
But your delivery is so fucked up, man. Don't probably hear that shit. I had a motherfucker say,
That is true.
I had a motherfucker say, how B-Rock sit there and listen to your crazy ass, man? Goddamn.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Hey. Oh,
But yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming on today, man, and letting us know, because I'm telling you like this. I'm gonna tell everybody out there. Wait a minute, go ahead, Rob. Let me let you say what you said. I'm gonna close out with this.
Okay. I'm gonna address this old habit, because that's exactly what it is. It's an actual habit that's been passed on from generation after generation after generation. Men have been groomed from day one. You get out here, you bust your ass, you don't show weakness ever. That male pride is what's ruining so many men today, especially at our age, because you got your girl, your wife, that's always egging you, telling you, go to the doctor, get checked, and you sit your fat ass there and you be like, ain't nothing wrong with you. And then next thing you know, you wake up dead because of sleep apnea. You have erectile dysfunctional because you refuse to get checked. You gotta drop that male pride just for once in your life and get checked. Get checked.
yeah.
I'm gonna ask you something, Rock.
All right.
If you suffer from ED, would you tell a woman in the beginning?
In the beginning
say if you wasn't married and you met a young lady, and you all talk, you all feeling each other, would you tell her you suffer from ED?
Before I got married,
I'm not saying if you wasn't married.
No. Hear me out. And I was in that dating stage. That was during the time that, one, I was unhealthy, eating badly, not exercising. And I had the form of ED, but I had that special tool that was given to me by my doctor called Viagra, which helped considerably. I didn't have to share that information because, you're dating. I mean, it's that's what it is.
Yeah, but some motherfuckers, the Viagra don't work.
See, that's not good. That means you got the deep-rooted issue.
That's what I'm talking about. That's ED. When Viagra don't help your ass, you got ED.
Yeah, that's some significant deep-rooted issues.
Okay, would you tell a female if your shit just did not work, you couldn't even masturbate or whatever and get this motherfucker? Would you tell a female before you get involved with her that you suffer from that?
I'll be honest with you. I would be a recluse. I wouldn't even entertain a relationship with a woman. Okay. I would be a recluse.
All right. What about you, God damn it, Brian?
Too many D's.
I'm getting y'all names fucked up with DYs and the motherfuckers and the R's and shit.
That's okay. That's okay.
That's okay.
I'm gonna tell you something. Real talk. I have and will. Because if you ever notice, you've heard women say, I don't know who in the hell at my door, they gotta wait. You heard women say, if he's married, all he had to do was tell me, because then let me make the decision. I'm gonna tell her because I want her to make the decision, and then I want her to know that I was being transparent and I was being honest with her.
Okay.
So to me, at some point, if she want to mess with me, fine. If she don't want to mess with me, guess what? Somebody gonna talk to me. Somebody gonna give me some play. Somebody gonna interact with me.
Okay.
But yes, I will. Yeah, okay. I will.
So both of y'all will. Okay, I understand.
Hey, but listen, you know what most women would say? Well, what that tongue do?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
hey, if you're not working properly down there, what's your tongue do? You know, that's
Yeah.
what
Oh, what's wrong with your fingers?
exactly. You know?
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
hey, well, I got both of y'all answers. Y'all ready for mine?
Go ahead.
I ain't telling them shit. They're gonna have to figure it out on their own.
Oh,
I
man.
wouldn't tell them a motherfucking thing. They would have to figure that out on their own. Because if it ever come a time that it don't work, I put him on mute. I probably, because you never know, somebody can make it work.
This is true. But like I was just stating when you asked me that question, I would just be a recluse until I got my shit in order.
Well, it never worked.
I mean, it will always work. You just
How
have
would-
to do, huh?
Today that motherfucker's gonna be obsolete.
No, I mean when you're in a casket and you 6 feet under, yeah, it ain't gonna work then. But while you are sitting up here dealing with your medical issues, which is causing your ED, I'm not gonna sit up there and tell no female anything until I get my shit in order. Because that's just too much to. It's depressing enough. It's depressing enough that you're going through it. Now you feeling this lady, and it's like, damn, do I tell her or do I not? I mean, that's just causing more stress on your heart, causing you high blood pressure and all kinds of shit. Man, I just become a recluse until I can get my shit in order.
I ain't telling them shit, though. Fuck.
That's what I'm saying. I ain't telling them
shit. If I was a single man and goddamn it, that motherfucker didn't work, they had to figure that motherfucker out on their own. Cause I'm gonna keep trying until I just take that motherfucker, cut off, throw it in the blender. Fuck that.
You stupid.
Hey, he looked like he got company, so I just took him off, man. So but hey, it was good chopping up. Like I say, man, I love you guys, man. I had a ball.
Love you too, bro.
Hey, man, like I said, I like people to miss me. So it you know, when you go a while without seeing somebody,
yeah,
appreciate the time you do spend with them.
Yes, sir.
Everybody updated. But hey, man, thank y'all for swagging with OG, the Mike D tonight, and B Rock, his boy.
Yes, sir.
Welcome
yes,
back,
sir.
man. Goddamn, I've been missing you for the last 2 weeks. And now it's starting to get back to popping. It's time to put your ass to work now, man.
Hey, let's go. Let's make it happen.
Love you, man. Thanks for coming by.
Love you too.
Y'all. Peace.
Later.